Americans, they always like grab the tube, like take a bit, put it on their tongue, and they're like, oh, it's awful, I would never want that. It's like, of course you don't, right? Like, that's the stupidest thing you've ever done.
Hey guys, it's Adam from Akshon Esports, and today I'm speaking with LA Valiant support player Custa. So Custa, how you doing after that victory, man?
Yeah, it was a good win. You know, it's one going up against Shanghai is always like a okay, but it's fine. And like, especially after a first map like King's Row, they're actually really good at tanks, and they actually brought it to us. We made a bunch of mistakes, but you know, we recovered and we ended up playing really well. It was also nice for the fourth map to get the sister team in, or at least a good chunk of those players in. Unfortunately, they didn't perform as well as they would have hoped. They're definitely a lot better than the results they showed, but it's good to get them stage time and get a bit of prep. So
let's talk about Shanghai for just a second. So Shanghai unfortunately has the losing record that they do, and there's one thing about American sports that kind of holds true, is that we love an underdog.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter, it seems, who Shanghai is playing. Everybody's rooting for them.
Everyone wants to win. Yeah.
So like, do you feel that like when you go on stage that even your fans are like kind of like, Shanghai, let's do it?
Well, we're in Los Angeles. We're Los Angeles Valiant, and the crowd is 3 times louder for Shanghai. You can hear them cheering every time Shanghai does something good, and you're like, oh no. So, but Shanghai is one of those teams that everyone wants to beat. Everyone wants them to beat someone except for them, right? So I'm cheering for everyone. It's like, it's kind of hard at this point. Losing to Dallas Fuel was probably going to be their best chance, I think, because with no effect. But Dallas played okay, so it's going to be hard for them to find that win for the rest of the season. They got a lot of hard matchups, but they got a really talented roster. They just need to put it together. I think that's the biggest problem.
This meta has kind of allowed Giggity to get back on Zarya, which is what she's known for and everything. Is this something that you kind of prepared for, like being a wild card going into the match?
It's really hard against Shanghai because Shanghai, they played like really random stuff against Dallas, and we were like, they're not going to play the same things. They did play like common tanks and that kind of stuff on King's Row, and as I said, their tanks is actually really solid. So they have a very like weird way of playing. You saw it against the sister in the force map on Gibraltar. Yeah. Gaguri got a 42-second graviton after switching to it, which is just a ridiculously fast graviton. So they definitely have some strength if they're putting Gaguri on the Zarya, and they seem to know how to play around it, so it'll be interesting to see if they stick with that far. This
week has seen a lot of crazy comps with a lot of teams looking like they're still trying to figure this meta out. How prepared were you and the rest of Valiant coming into this week, and where was your confidence level at?
It's really hard with new metas because everyone goes a different direction, right? So, and then what happens is it ends up being rock, paper, scissors, okay? Because, everyone comes out with this comp, so let's use like some team that goes with double sniper, and then you have a team that wants to use Brigitte, and then you have a team that, we're just gonna keep playing dive. Dive beats snipers, snipers beats Brigitte, Brigitte beats dive. It's this never-ending cycle of just like who beats who, and so who plays what on the day and who adjusts. So it's been some exciting matches at the start of the week. I think it'll standardize over time, and everyone will start probably playing the same thing like it always ends up happening. But if there's ever going to be upsets, this week's the week. So it was good to get out of this week unscathed and beat Sol.
Yeah, actually, speaking of, you've won both your games this week, and at this point at least, it looks like Valiant are on track to replicate your success from last stage. So where's your confidence level going into the rest of the stage? Are we prepared for the stabilization of this meta when it comes?
One of the things that's like really great about our team is we have a lot of versatility in our team. We're not really meta locked like some other teams. So we can play dive, but we can also adjust to tanks and other things. So it's really good for our team to be able to have that. It's really just going to end up where the meta like finally lands. We definitely have our strengths, but it'll be an interesting stage. We're confident. Beating Sol was the first important step to making first seed in our Pacific division. So I'm really hoping that we can finish this off and get a nice fast track to the semifinals and give us some time to prepare.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the numerous subs we saw in Map 4 today? We saw Numlock, KSF, Verbo. What went into the swap decision, and did it have anything to do with the fact that you guys were up 3-0? Was there any element of like experimentation to this?
Yeah, it's about giving our roster. We have 12 players, so we have a very common 6 or 7 players that we've played throughout the stage, especially since I got here. So there are 5 or 6 other people that are just sort of always there practicing with us. They're behind the scenes and not really seen. So we're up 3-0. We've closed out the series. So we really wanted to give them a chance to play on stage, get some experience, get some insight into those players and that kind of stuff. So it's really important as like an overall team to sort of give them that opportunity to go play on stage. That's why you saw the mass subs. So, you know, we were really excited to give them the opportunity to play on stage. But yeah, as I said, it didn't go as well as, you know, we would have hoped, but they're all incredibly talented players, and, you know, I'm sure you'll see them in the future.
Speaking of, I mean, obviously talent is great, but you need that practice, you need that experience, and obviously there are reasons for this. But we have also seen map score play a pivotal role in deciding like stage finals. What goes into kind of deciding, weighing that against one another, the benefit of getting that experience versus the possibility of losing that map score?
The map score, it's nice, right? Like, it's nice to have that map score. It's something that we have that's very important in the current standing that we have. But in the grander scheme of things, having players and sub-players that are comfortable and feel like they are part of the team, feel like they are, you know, contributing in that kind of stuff, and sort of give them like a baseline to look at is really important. So we're looking further in the future. The coaches really wanted to see them play on stage. This was easily the best opportunity we were ever going to get for the rest of the stage, because, as you said, it's hard to find times where this is going to be able to be done. So it was a good opportunity, and we took it.
So when Moira first came into the meta, you were one of the first to really pioneer her playstyle at a pro level. With Brigitte now entering the roster, a lot of people were expecting to see something similar with you, kind of being at the head of the pack. Why didn't we really see that come from you?
Well, so Moira came out at a time where I wasn't really like practicing a lot, right? I was streaming a lot. I was just looking to improve my play. And when you have a new support coming in, it's obvious that I'm going to pick it up. So I wanted to put the most time into it and show that, like, I am one of the best of these characters, so that, you know, it can be a valuable resource to my name. Within Overwatch League, Brigitte comes out in the middle of a stage that no one can play her. Any practice that I put into her is going to be wasted for a couple of weeks, and then we go into stage 4 and maybe she's not useless. Like, it would have been useless if I had practiced her, because I'm never going to play her. So I'm thinking about the amount of time that I have to invest in Overwatch League. It's not a lot. So I just didn't really have the time to do that as much as I would have loved to do it.
I mean, we have a couple weeks left before the break, but when the break hits, you think you're going to pick her out and mess around with her a lot more?
Yeah. I still fumble around with her here and there, just nowhere near as much. Another thing about Brigitte as well is that she's not crazy intensive. There's not a ton of things that you can learn about her. She's very straightforward for the most part.
So speaking of Moira a little bit, we haven't really seen her this stage so far, granted it's only been 1 week. But is there any chance of seeing her picked? It seems that she's not really conducive to the meta right now.
Her biggest problem is she has her niche is that she outputs a lot of damage and healing, right? So her numbers are probably higher than any other supports in the game. But you really need to build a team around Moira, and the problem is you saw a lot of people sort of test her out and sort of throw some cheese strats in early on, but it's kind of hard to justify because she doesn't have a ton of utility, right? She does a lot of healing, does a lot of damage, but doesn't provide anything else. You see the other supports, and the reason they're picked up: Mercy has a resurrection, Zen has a Discord orb, Lucia has speed, Brigitte has stuns, and that kind of stuff. So opposed from the numbers, how good they are, the utility that those characters bring is more important than just raw output of healing and damage.
So talk to me a little bit about that, Mercy. We've been seeing you on the Mercy quite a bit, as opposed to some of your more favored comfort picks of the past.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that, how you feel about playing Mercy so much? With her rework, does it feel different than it did in the past?
It's different because, you know, Mercy used to be like a very niche pick on you'd play with Pharah. So when the rework sort of came through, everyone was like, hey, you can pretty much play her everywhere. You don't need a Pharah to work with. Mercy's super important right now because of how reliable she is. You know, as much as other characters can maybe have more value, Mercy's just a very solid pick to have all round, and the resurrection is an incredible ability. So I don't mind playing Mercy. I like winning. I'll play whatever I can to help the team win. So, you know, whether that be Mercy, Lucio, Anna, Moira, who knows, I'll play it. So
far this stage, we've seen a little flipping of the script with top teams of last stage, like Boston and London, struggling a little bit in the beginning here, whereas teams like Houston, who are middle of the pack, are doing really well. How has Valiant been able to keep that edge in such a turbulent meta shift?
I think it's one of those meta shifts that's sort of threw the value of character players into a rift, right? So Boston was a very good dive team, and Striker was one of the best Tracers in the world. And then you go, hey, Tracer's useless now because people play Brigitte. And, you know, I think the teams that struggle the most are the ones that have sort of refused to accept that the meta is changing. You see that a lot from Boston. You sort of see it with London. They're still trying to force dive at times. And the thing that Houston, I think, has done better than everyone else is they adapted to the meta the fastest. If you watch them play, they seem to have the best grasp on which character is the best and the way the meta needs to go, at least for now. So us as Valiant, I think we're really trying to like put that step forward and sort of do what Houston's doing, because we have that maneuverability with our roster. We're not locked into anything, so we're testing everything out. We're getting there. We definitely haven't found all the answers, but we're trying.
Are there any other teams you see kind of benefiting from this meta shift, and which of them are you most nervous or excited about facing?
I think Houston's probably the team that they had a pretty awful stage 3. They, especially towards the end, they were really bottoming out. Lost to some teams they shouldn't lose to, but they seem to be coming back really strong with this meta shift. No Tracer is obviously amazing for a team that everyone flames for not having a Tracer player, so it's good for them. I think Shock also has a really good chance of blossoming in this meta, because they have a lot of versatility, especially with Architect. Architect's playing amazingly. So I think people with Reinhardt players as well are really starting to see shine through, because Reinhardt's very important on some maps.
So over the course of the last 2 years, you've played with a lot of teams. You've played with a lot of different players that have made their way into the Overwatch League. I mean, I haven't crunched the numbers myself, but it seems like you've probably played with more members of the Overwatch League than most of the other players on average. How has that benefited you as far as like preparing yourself, especially when playing against your former teammates?
I think it's the thing that can't be overstated is how valuable it is to play on different teams, because you learn so much. Every team has a different dynamic and a different way of playing, and you really begin to understand what is valuable in a team, what is not valuable, the players that you want to play with long term, because especially once you start traveling and living and spending so much time with players, it really sort of brings out who they are. So it's about finding, understanding how to work with certain people and that kind of stuff, and how to change myself to be the best teammate that I can be. So I think that's super valuable. There is a lot of players that I've played with, there's a lot of players and contenders and people that I played with before that I'm really hoping to see in Overwatch League in the future. So it's something interesting, and I'm really appreciating this opportunity.
What are some of your goals moving forward throughout the rest of the stage, and the rest of the season, both for yourself and for your team?
I think I just want us to sort of underline ourselves as like a top team, and a team that going into season 2 people should be like keeping an eye out for as like one of the top contenders. Also just sort of consolidating our team and realizing, where we stand, the things that we need to work on going forward, and all that kind of stuff. So obviously want to do as well as we can this season, but it's only the first season. There's more seasons ahead.
Do you have any words for the fans that have been with you on this long and crazy journey throughout Overwatch?
Yeah, big shout outs to everyone who's been with me. My Twitch stream is probably the people where I have the most gathering of people. People are starting to hit 20 months worth of subs and stuff like that, so people have been following me for a really long time, which I really appreciate, and they've gone through thick and thin, so I appreciate that, and all the new fans coming through. I hope you guys enjoy my community and enjoy the team.
Excellent. Custa, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations again, and good luck in the rest of the stage.
That's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and share, as it really helps out the channel quite a lot. Otherwise, be sure to subscribe and follow us on Twitter if you want to stay up to date with all of our content, and hit that bell to stay notified.